I said in that video at the city of Bell, and why that chief of police would not answer me. And it's really very easy. Okay. So I'm gonna start first by showing you the when I refer to Los Angeles versus U.S. What I'm actually referring to was the original civil rights lawsuit that was filed when a lot of people were being illegally detained because they were citizens. And so when it says Pedro Vasquez Perdomo et al. Or whatever, a lot of these cases just got put together. So when it says et al., it means like a group of people. So within here, there was the city of LA, the city of Pico Rivera, and one more city. I don't recall the exact city. So if you see this, the Supreme Court or the majority of the Supreme Court said stay. And a stay means the law was the opinion was given by the Ninth Circuit Court, which California is a part of the Ninth Circuit Court. We see the opinion, but we're not going to do anything about it. We're not going to say if we support it or don't support it. But what this did when Kavanaugh, this is why I called it a Kavanaugh stop. He's saying this is my opinion on something that has not been decided. And he's like, okay, put state, but then he's saying, interrogate any alien or person believed to be blah, blah, blah. And he's citing that law, all of those laws, right? But the reason why they wouldn't give you a decision and the reason why everyone else in the other laws that I cited matters is this. Under the Constitution, which is the highest law of the land. This is the Constitution, and the first 10 amendments of the Constitution is under the Bill of Rights. And the Bill of Rights apply to documented and undocumented people. It says the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause supported by the oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons and things to be seized. So that's what we say. If you do not have a warrant, right? You don't have a warrant, you don't have a reasonable suspicion that a crime is being committed, then that's what you need. So that's why it matters. It matters because it's literally outlining how any agency, regardless of jurisdiction, is supposed to approach you, right? So you cannot have an unreasonable search, unreasonable seizure. So if they just grab you for looking Latino off the street and then ask you for your papers or ask you if you speak English, that's an unreasonable search and seizure. There is no way that an officer can know if you're here legally or not. They're just implying that you're not here legally or undocumented or whatever they want to call it, just because you look Latino. Okay? So that's what the Fourth Amendment violation is. So in plain English, the government can't harass, detain, or take your property or yourself without legal justification. Now, U.S. Code Title 18-241 says if two or more people, so agents, deputized agents, bounty hunters, conspire to injure, oppress, threat, or intimidate any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district in the free exercise of enjoyment of any right or privilege secured to them or him or her by the Constitution or laws of the U.S., blah, 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 right? This has to do with the civil rights. They shall be fined and imprisoned for no more than 10 years or no. And if death results from the acts committed in violation of this section, or if such acts include kidnapping or an attempt to kidnap, aggravated sexual abuse, or an attempt to commit aggravated sexual abuse, or killed, they should be fined and imprisoned and then maybe even sentenced to death. So all of those ICE officers that have killed people on the streets violating 18 U.S. Code 241 because they are wearing a uniform, and those persons have constitutional rights, whether they're documented or undocumented. I'm not making it up. Cornell is telling us. If Cornell Law School doesn't know what they're talking about, please let me know. Then we have the other one that I talk about, the provision of rights under color of law, which is U.S. Code Section 242 Title 18 makes it a crime for a person acting under the color of law to willfully deprive a person of a right or privilege protected by the Constitution or law of the United States. So that is saying that a government official uses your authority to violate someone's constitutional rights. It's right here. Whoever under the color of law, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom willfully subjects any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or districts to the deprivation of any rights, privilege, or immunity secured or protected by the Constitution or laws of these United States, right? Shall be fined, weapons, it's all there. Everything that I talked about is the same thing. They're liable for it. They are liable. They can't use the fact that they're wearing a uniform to violate your civil rights. It's in plain fucking English. So to every single person in those comments, all those bots saying, I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, does the justice that GOB not know what they're talking about? Because it's literally on a government fucking website, the government for the Department of Justice. Justice.gov. It's right there. Plain fucking English, right? Plain fucking English. So if we take these three things and we apply them to that Kavanaugh stop regulation that I was just talking about, hold on, let me pop it back up right there. Okay. So basically, what this guy says, in my opinion, this is just one Supreme Court Justice, Kavanaugh, saying, in my opinion, I think if the ICE officer thinks that they could be, they should be able to do that. But because it is a stay, not a decision, meaning it is not case law or a Supreme Court decision, it is a very, very ambiguous way of saying you shouldn't be doing this, but you're going to do it anyway, and we're going to try and look the other way. That's why they give it a stay, because the Supreme Court knows that if they say that what Trump is doing is okay, and they say that the Ninth District decision is wrong, they're violating Amendment 4. And how do we change constitutional amendments? Here, I'll do it in live. How to change constitutional amendments. How to change amendments in the Constitution, whatever. You can Google it, go anywhere, archive Article 5. That is what's going to tell you what it is. Go through Wikipedia, legal clarity, pick something, right? Here's the Congress.gov, proposal of amendments, right? Here's a report. But essentially, you have to have members of Congress propose amendments, okay? And once those amendments are proposed, Congress has to vote to push them forward, okay? There's the procedures in Article 2. How do you amend the Constitution? And then after you do amendments, they need to be ratified by the states, because that is what makes us the United States. So you guys can go to congress.gov and figure out how to ratify the Constitution. Guess who cannot ratify the Constitution? The fucking Supreme Court. So that Kavanaugh stop, stay, whatever the hell is bullshit. They know it, and anybody that can read plain fucking English knows it. But he wrote this to empower them. Why? Because he's on the files and he's a rapist. That's why. Many people said he is. Remember how angry he got during the confirmation hearings? He's just another short dick, angry white man. And that's why we're in the station that we're in today. And that's why we continue to be oppressed. And that's why we continue to get screwed. Okay? So if you want to stop this, you got to push Congress to get them to stop it, because Congress can pass laws right now to defund ICE. Congress can say, we're not giving them any money. And if the president vetoes whatever Congress says, they can do a veto override with a large majority. It's all there, you guys. They haven't taken the information down. So please, 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 do yourselves a favor. Look this shit up.